Well, welcome back to Hump Day. It's Wednesday and it's time for the illiterate Greek. So again, a familiar passage that we see. As a matter of fact, I have an embroidery that my wife did hanging on the wall. Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. The Amplified Bible tells us to, in all your ways, know and acknowledge and recognize him. So we live in a rather casual society. We know a lot of stuff around us. We acknowledge them. Yeah, I know who he is. I know who that is. Whatever. We're very casual. And acknowledge to us simply means to accept or admit the truth of something. However, in the Old Testament, especially in Proverbs, that word acknowledge has a whole different meaning. It's actually the Hebrew word yada, H3045, and it means to know, to learn, to perceive, to discriminate, to distinguish, to be acquainted with, to have an intimate knowledge of. So it's a lot more than just saying, "Oh yeah, I've heard it," But it's, that's what we are called to do with the Lord, and with His ways. We are called to acknowledge them, to know them, not just know of them, but to know them. Another verse that we're familiar with is Matthew 7. And that is 7:23, and many will say in that day to me, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, and cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I will declare to them, depart from me, I never knew you. And in the New Testament, this is the Greek word gnosko, G1077, and it means to have knowledge of. It was an idiom for the relationship between a husband and a wife. And an idiom is a group of words established by usage as having a meaning not deductible from those of the individual words. In other words, it's trading cats and dogs. We know it's physically happening, but that's it. We are not called to be casual with Jesus and just say, "Oh yeah, I know that guy. I read about him somewhere in a book somewhere." In Matthew 22, Jesus said, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like that." He said, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself." So it's a lot different than casual. So do not just gnosko him, but yada him. Know him intimately and know him well.